As we're tracking shares of Macy's pre-market right now, they are higher by about 15% on news that the company is weighing a $5.8 billion buyout offer. The proposal comes at an interesting time for the retailer, smack dab in the middle of its critical holiday shopping season and just weeks away from a planned CEO transition. So, is the deal worth considering? With more, we're now joined by David Swartz, who is the Morningstar Senior Equity Analyst. David, let's start there. Is this deal worth considering for Macy's?
Yes, I think it is worth considering. I think there's a lot of risk if Macy's turns it down flat because you never know when these kind of offers will come by. Now, $21 a share is kind of low. It is lower than the value of Macy's real estate. But you also have to remember that Macy's has $2.8 billion in net debt. It has a history of very uneven results over the past 15 years, really. And the model at Macy's just doesn't work anymore. And so it really is important for Macy's to take this offer seriously and potentially try to get a better price for shareholders.
David, do you think this type of offer, because we're seeing shares in Nordstrom move higher on this, does this unleash a wave of activity for old school iconic department stores like a Macy's, like a Nordstrom that own a lot of real estate? Now we're going to see those buyers step up in here and putting in bids.
Well, that's very possible. We did see Kohl's go through a potential buyout process a couple of years ago. That did not end in a deal. And if you look at Kohl's stock price since, it's way below where it was at that time. It's far below the offers that were discussed. So I think there's potential that someone else could go after Kohl's again because it is, I think, quite undervalued as well. Now, for Nordstrom is a family-run business, and the Nordstrom family does own 30% of the company. So I think that's less likely to be sold, but it is possible that it could be taken private.
Dave, when it comes to some of the uncertainty out there, you mentioned the fact that maybe this is more of a real estate play, just given the valuation and what we have seen. In terms of what are the other strengths, though, that could maybe make Macy's attractive to bidders? Is there anything else that you have on your radar just in terms of Macy's? Yes, it's struggling, but it still has an edge because of XYZ.
Yeah, Macy's does have strengths. The company is one of the largest online retailers in the U.S. with over $7 billion in online sales. The company gets very little credit for that because people still see it as a brick and mortar retailer. Other parts of the business that are attractive include Bloomingdale's. Bloomingdale's is a luxury store, does stand out from others. And it has been doing pretty well recently, which is part of the reason why the Bloomingdale's head is going to be the new CEO of Macy's very soon. Then you also have Bluemercury, which does have potential and is growing. It potentially hasn't really been meeting what it could be. But, I think Bluemercury in the future does really meet with a lot of trends that have been powering other beauty retailers like Sephora and Ulta. So I think Bluemercury is also interesting. Then you look at Macy's. Macy's does have 40 million shoppers a year. It has millions of credit card holders. It does have strengths that people would be interested in.